Welcome to another deep dive, and today we're going all the way back to ancient China.
Oh, cool.
All right, we're going to be cracking open the Yellow Emperor's classic of internal medicine.
Okay.
Or the Huangdi Neijing.
The Huangdi Neijing.
And this is basically like, imagine if you had to sum up the core ideas of Western medicine in one book.
Right.
This is basically that book, but for traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
And it's over 2,000 years old.
That's pretty impressive for a medical text.
It really is. And you know what else is really cool about it?
What's that?
It's not written like a textbook.
Oh.
It's written as a conversation
Interesting.
between the mythical Yellow Emperor Huangdi and his advisors.
So it's like you're listening in on...
Yeah, you're eavesdropping on this master class.
I like that.
With Huangdi as the student.
Asking all the questions.
Yeah, and all these advisors, the professors.
That's a great way to make it approachable.
Yeah, so wait a minute. A mythical emperor as the student? Tell me more about these characters.
Well, Huangdi is considered the forefather of Chinese civilization.
Okay.
He's not just any emperor. He's a symbol of wisdom.
I see.
A driving force behind medicine, agriculture, you name it.
So he's kind of like this legendary figure who embodies the best of Chinese culture.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then you have his chief advisor, Kibo.
Okay.
He is the ultimate sage when it comes to medicine.
Right.
He studied with Taoist masters.
Wow.
And he was personally recommended to the emperor by another really wise figure, Zonansi.
Okay.
And so their back and forth is really what makes this text so engaging.
It's not just what they're talking about.
Right.
But how this mentor-student dynamic makes it all click.
Yeah, and it makes these complex ideas much easier to grasp.
They were thinking ahead 2,000 years.
I guess so.
To us needing to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
So before we get into the details, tell me about the book itself.
Sure. So the Huangdi Neijing is split into two parts. The first part is called the Suwen.
Suwen.
Which means basic questions.
Makes sense.
And that's where they lay the groundwork.
Okay.
General theories of health.
Gotcha.
How to diagnose illnesses and the different treatment approaches.
So the what and the why of TCM?
Exactly. The foundational knowledge, what makes TCM tick.
I like it.
And then you have the second part called the Lingshu.
Lingshu.
Which translates to spiritual pivot.
Okay.
And this part gets into the nitty-gritty of specific techniques. Especially acupuncture and the flow of qi.
So if the Suwen is the theory,
right,
the Lingshu is the practice.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay, now we can't talk about TCM without talking about the cornerstones.
Yeah.
Yin and Yang.
Of course.
And the 5 elements.
Yes.
What's the deal with these?
So these concepts are really about understanding how everything in the universe is interconnected, including our bodies, and strives for this balance. And so it's a very different perspective than the Western model of medicine, which often focuses on isolating and treating specific symptoms.
So instead of looking at just the part that hurts,
right,
TCM is zoom out.
Yeah, look at the big picture.
How does everything fit together?
Exactly. It's like trying to understand a car engine.
Oh, okay.
Western medicine might focus on fixing a faulty spark plug. But TCM would look at how that spark plug interacts with the fuel system, the battery, the whole engine.
To understand the root of the problem.
Yeah.
That's a really good analogy.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's unpack these a little bit.
Sure.
Starting with yin and yang.
Okay.
I feel like everybody's heard these terms.
Right.
But what do they actually mean in terms of health?
So think of it like sleep and wakefulness.
Okay.
You need both for good health, right?
Of course.
But the key is finding the balance between the two.
Balance.
Too much of one, not enough of the other.
Yeah.
And things start to go wrong. Yin and yang are like that.
Opposing forces.
Yeah.
That need to be in harmony.
So illness is basically a sign that these forces are out of whack.
That's exactly it.
Too much heat, not enough coolness. Too much activity, not enough rest.
Right.
So the goal is to restore that balance.
Bring things back into harmony.
Okay, that makes sense.
That is.
What about the 5 elements?
5 elements?
Yeah, now I'm picturing literal wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.
I can see that.
Am I supposed to carry around a bucket of water?
No.
And a log to understand this?
No, you don't need to do that.
Okay, good.
So in TCM, the 5 elements are more symbolic representations of different energies and processes that happen in both our bodies and the natural world.
So more like metaphors than actual elements.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they're not just random categories. They interact with each other in specific ways.
How so?
So for example, wood feeds fire.
Okay.
Fire creates earth Earth bears metal.
Wow.
Metal collects water, and water nourishes wood. It's a whole cycle.
It's a beautiful cycle of generation.
But I'm guessing it can get disrupted.
Of course, there's also a cycle of control.
Oh, interesting.
So wood parts, earth dams water quenches fire.
Okay.
Fire melts metal, and metal chops wood.
It all makes sense.
It's about keeping these forces in check.
Gotcha.
If one element becomes too dominant or deficient, it throws off the whole system.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's also a lot to keep track of.
That's true.
Like you need to be a master strategist to keep all this in balance.
Well, that's where TCM techniques come in.
Okay.
Like acupuncture, herbal medicine, and lifestyle adjustments.
So they're like tools to nudge things in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. Restore that harmony.
I like it. Okay, so before we get into those tools,
yes,
there's one more thing.
What's that?
Key.
Yes.
The life force.
Right.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Of course.
Because it always seems so mysterious.
Yeah. It's a bit of a tricky concept.
Help me out here.
So think of qi as the energy that flows through everything.
Everything.
In the universe, including our bodies.
Okay.
It's what animates us, keeps our organs functioning.
Wow.
It allows us to think, feel, and move.
Really?
Yeah. And in TCM, illness is often seen as a disruption of this qi flow.
So if yin and yang are about balance,
yeah,
and the 5 elements are about interconnectedness, qi is the energy that makes it all go.
That's a great way to put it.
I'm trying.
No, that's good.
Okay, so qi's like a river.
Yeah.
And if there's a blockage, it causes problems downstream.
Exactly.
So like stress is a dam that backs up the flow, causes tension headaches.
Could be.
Digestive issues.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, so TCM is all about removing those blockages.
Yeah, restoring that smooth flow of qi throughout the body.
Interesting. I never thought about it like that before.
Yeah, it's a different way of looking at things.
It really is. And it's so different from how we approach health in the West. We tend to focus on treating the symptoms.
Right.
Not necessarily getting to the root cause.
And that's a key difference that's highlighted in the Huangdi Neijing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it emphasizes prevention.
Prevention.
The idea is that by understanding these fundamental principles and living in a way that promotes balance and harmony, we can actually prevent illness from arising in the first place.
Not just taking a pill when you're sick.
No, it's about cultivating a lifestyle.
Wow.
That supports your overall well-being.
This is amazing.
It is pretty cool.
This ancient text. I'm starting to really get it.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's like, it's not just about fixing what's broken.
Right.
But creating the conditions for lasting health and vitality.
That's the essence of it.
It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, it considers the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of a person.
I remember there's a part in the Neijing where Huangdi asks Qibo about the importance of treating the root of a disease.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the branches and leaves.
Right.
It's all about understanding the whole picture.
Exactly.
I'm hooked. I need to know more about how we can actually apply these principles in our modern lives.
Okay, let's get into that.
Okay, so we've got all these concepts, yin, yang, 5 elements, qi, and it all comes back to this idea of harmony and balance.
Right, finding that equilibrium.
But what does that actually look like in real life?
Right. How do we take these ancient ideas and actually apply them to our modern lives?
Exactly.
Well, the cool thing about the Huangdi Neijing is it doesn't just talk about the theory, it gives you specific guidance.
Okay, so what kind of guidance are we talking about?
Well, let's start with something everyone can relate to: diet.
Food.
Exactly. So the text emphasizes eating whole, unprocessed foods that are in season and locally grown.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, eating strawberries in December probably isn't the most in tune with nature choice.
Right, exactly. It's about aligning our diets with the natural rhythms of our environment.
Our ancestors didn't have access to mangoes in the middle of winter?
Exactly. They ate what was available locally. Right.
And their bodies adapted to those seasonal shifts.
So it's not just about what we eat, but when we eat it.
Exactly. Timing is everything.
Fascinating. Okay, so what else does the Neijing say about food?
It also encourages mindful eating.
Mindful eating.
Not just shoveling food down while you're scrolling through your phone, but actually savoring each bite, paying attention to the flavors, the textures, the smells.
Interesting.
Cultivating a sense of gratitude for the nourishment you're receiving.
You know, I've actually been trying to do that lately, and it's amazing how much more I enjoy my meals.
Right.
When I actually slow down and focus on what I'm eating.
That makes a big difference.
It's like I'm actually tasting food for the first time.
Exactly. That's the power of mindfulness. And it really speaks to that interconnectedness of mind and body that TCM emphasizes.
It's not just fuel.
No.
It's nourishment.
Right. For all levels of your being.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so we've talked about food.
What about exercise? What does the Neijing say about that?
It does, but again, it's not what you might think.
What do you mean?
It's not about pushing yourself to the limit at the gym.
Oh, no.
Or striving for like a perfect six-pack.
Okay.
It's more about finding forms of movement that bring you joy and connect you with your body.
So not high-intensity interval training?
Not necessarily, no.
More like a gentle Tai Chi class in the park?
Yeah, exactly. Something that nourishes your body and mind.
Instead of depleting them?
Right. Even just taking a walk in nature can be incredibly beneficial.
Oh, totally.
Just getting out there, moving your body, feeling the fresh air.
You're making me rethink my whole approach to fitness.
Oh, really?
I've been so focused on like pushing myself harder.
Yeah.
I forgot about the joy of just moving my body.
It's easy to get caught up in that mindset,
Definitely.
Especially in our culture that's so focused on achievement.
Yeah, always striving for more.
But the Neijing reminds us that true health is about finding that sweet spot between activity and rest.
Balance again. Okay, so we've covered diet and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
What about rest? I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes, rest is essential.
I knew it.
The Neijing really emphasizes the importance of adequate sleep relaxation and spending time in nature.
These aren't just luxuries.
No, they're essential.
For recharging.
Right, allowing your body and mind to restore themselves.
It's so countercultural.
It is.
We're always told to do more, achieve more, be more.
I know, it's exhausting.
It really is, and this philosophy is so refreshing.
Yeah, it's about honoring our natural rhythms.
Makes sense.
We're not machines that can just run nonstop.
I wish.
We need those periods of downtime to function at our best.
And downtime isn't just about sleeping.
No, it's about engaging in activities that bring you joy and peace.
Like reading a good book or spending time with loved ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe just sitting in nature, listening to the birds.
Absolutely. Anything that nourishes your soul and allows you to truly unwind.
I love this. It's amazing how these ancient principles are so relevant today.
I know. It's like they knew what we'd be dealing with thousands of years later.
This isn't just some historical artifact.
No, it's a living text.
Full of practical guidance.
For living healthier, more balanced lives.
And it's not just about physical health.
No. There's definitely a mental and emotional component as well.
I was just thinking about that. Tell me more about how TCM views emotions and their impact on health.
Okay, let's dive into that.
All right, so we talk about diet, exercise, rest, and now emotions. This is where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah, it's a fascinating aspect of TCM.
Tell me more about this connection between our feelings and our physical well-being.
So in TCM, emotions aren't just like fleeting experiences.
Yeah.
They're seen as powerful energies that can really impact our organs and our overall health.
So it's not just in our heads.
No, not at all.
It's like a Western thing to think.
Yeah, we tend to try to compartmentalize our emotions.
Keep them separate from our physical selves.
Right. But TCM takes a much more holistic view.
So instead of just saying, don't be so stressed, PCM is saying stress actually has a physical impact.
Exactly. It acknowledges that mind and body are interconnected.
I like that. And the Neijing actually talks about how specific emotions relate to different organs.
It does. For example, anger is associated with the liver.
Okay.
While fear is linked to the kidneys.
So if I'm constantly feeling angry,
yeah,
it could actually be affecting my liver.
That's the idea. In TCM, pent-up anger is seen as a major disruptor of liver qi.
Liver qi?
Yeah, and that can manifest in a bunch of different ways.
Like what?
Headaches, irritability, digestive issues, even high blood pressure.
Wow, our emotions are powerful.
They really are. And this is why understanding TCM can be so helpful.
It gives us a new way to look at ourselves.
Right, and to think about our well-being in a more holistic way.
You know, one thing that I'm noticing about TCM is it doesn't seem to view illness as like a bad thing.
That's a good observation.
Yeah.
Yeah, in TCM, illness is often seen as a sign that something is out of balance.
Like a signal from the body.
Exactly. It's telling you to pay attention and make some adjustments.
Not necessarily something to be feared.
No, it's more like an opportunity to learn and grow.
So instead of just popping a pill to mask the symptoms,
right,
TCM encourages us to ask, what is my body trying to tell me?
Exactly. It's about listening to your body's wisdom.
We've lost touch with that.
We're so used to quick fixes that we've forgotten how to really tune in and understand what our bodies need.
But the Neijing is like giving us the tools to rediscover that connection.
It is. It's like a secret decoder ring for unlocking the mysteries of your own health.
I love that analogy. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm just so amazed by how much wisdom is packed into this ancient text.
It really is incredible.
The Huangdi Neijing, it's A testament to the power of ancient Chinese medicine.
It's a reminder that there's always more to learn.
Always new perspectives to explore.
And that the journey of discovery never really ends.
So true. So as we go out into the world with all this knowledge, what's one thing you want our listeners to keep in mind?
I would say embrace those principles of balance and harmony in every area of your life.
Every area.
Your diet, your exercise, your work, your relationships, your thoughts and emotions.
It's not about perfection.
No, it's not about trying to control everything.
It's about finding that equilibrium.
Exactly, where everything flows smoothly and effortlessly.
Letting go of the struggle, embracing the natural rhythms of life.
And when we do that, when we align ourselves with that wisdom of nature and our own inner wisdom, we create the conditions for optimal health and well-being.
That's a beautiful thought. So on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive into the world of ancient Chinese medicine.
Sounds good.
It's been an absolute pleasure exploring these fascinating concepts with you.
Likewise, I always enjoy our conversation.
To our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this journey of discovery.
We hope you found it insightful.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep seeking that state of balance and harmony in all that you do.
Until next time, may you be well.
Goodbye, everyone.